Hey, happy Friday. How's it going? It's live stream time. How's everyone doing? I wish that I could get a response from someone. I guess there's the whole comments, but I'm gonna draw names again today because that's generally how these live streams go. I was loosely considering the idea, which was suggested during the official Piascik sticker party club, which is one of the tiers on my Patreon. When you're in that tier, we get a monthly video hangout where we chat in Google Hangout and draw some stuff. Anyway, someone suggested I do one of those. I think it was Nick. Thanks, Nick. Suggested I do one of those live streams where I like take suggestions and just fill a page with random things, which was fun. I'm not doing that today, but I took that idea and ran with it, and I asked in my Instagram story for suggestions for the dumbest, stupidest things I could put into a drawing, and I've been working on that for an upcoming video. So stay tuned to see all of those dumb things combined into one drawing. It's pretty ridiculous. Speaking of new videos, I have been editing a monstrosity of a video where I hand letter 50 new logos for bands and musicians that I like, but I limit myself to 5 minutes each, and, there's a little sneak peek of them popping up on the screen right now. That video will be coming out on Tuesday, and I it has been so hard to edit, and it's taken me forever. And I'm still not finished, but I'm close. So what I'm saying is it would mean the world to me if when it comes out on Tuesday morning, you watch it so that it doesn't crash and burn, which seems to be the case when I work really hard on a video. So check it out. It was if you want to see me have a little bit of a mental breakdown in the video, that happens several times. Several times. There's some weird singing that happens in there that I wasn't expecting. Uh it's a doozy. But, I think it's funny. I think it's a fun video, and I'm happy with how it turned out, but it's a lot. What else? There's been a big development on my website, thanks to, Matt in the chat. In my peripheral, I got a preview of the live stream, but it's, like, slightly delayed, so I just saw myself throw my hands in there. Already forgot that I did it, and it caught me off guard. Anyway, uh, I've been getting asked now and again from people who want to take my Skillshare classes, but don't want to join Skillshare, if I would be willing to put them as like one-off classes on my website. And that is now a thing that can be done. Uh, so far, we've got 3 of my most recent classes on there, and they are available without subscription. You can just purchase them as one-off things. So if you're interested in that, you want to be on Skillshare, check it out. But if you are interested in Skillshare, you can get a link below. And if you've never done Skillshare before, you get a free month trial. So you could take those classes for free. And then I guess cancel if you wanted to. Uh, okay, what else? I just got to tell you a couple other things, and then we will start drawing names. The rules to get your name drawn are in a pinned comment by channel moderator Skippy McHaggis, but the gist of it is I start at the top of the list from when the stream goes live, and then if you really need to jump the line, you can do that with a super chat of $20 and up, which it looks like that has already happened from Sharon Weiss. Thank you so much. Okay. You because of the new stuff, the hoodies are in, and I'm gonna show you because I got physical ones here. I'm so excited about these. They have been shipping out. People have been receiving them. We got stuff printed down the sleeves. We got the good luck fingers crossed on the front. We got a little We got Dottie Dog on there. Do you see Dottie? Where is she? Hi, Dottie. There's all kinds of stuff. There's a rude pizza. There's a taco friend. There's a sword. It says the Piascik, so you got your gang name in there. And there's a hot dog and a brain and another skull. There's plenty of skulls in case you're wondering if there was skulls. There's a skateboarding hamburger. Everything you need on a shirt. And it's available in black or green. And these are my favorite hoodies. They're independent company. They are not made in sweatshops, which is rad, and they are not crappy fitting, and they don't have dumb short sleeves. They're just lovely. They're just lovely. So some of the sizes are already running out. So if you want to grab one, you can do that. You can use the promo code LIVE, get a little discount. If you are a patron, make sure to use your special code because you get a bigger discount for being a patron. Well, some of you don't seem to know that. So check out your benefits because you get a discount code that you can use all the time. So peep that, and you can, while you're there, you can get the Care About Other People metal shirt, right? Okay. Let's draw some names. Oh, let me just pop up my little patron thing. I got to advertise this because I turn off the monetization on YouTube for my live streams so we don't get ads cutting in. So this is what we do. We have a little ad here so I can promote my shop, and then I don't have to have YouTube ads popping up all the time. One more thing. Speaking of, I didn't even say, shout out all my patrons, my official Piascikos all get their name drawn and included in the videos that I make while they are active members, except when I'm the worst person on earth in the last video where I forgot to add it in because I was running late on that video and I forgot. So I'm sorry. But check out these amazing names. Look at these people. I love them. All my best friends. Okay. Nick in the chat said he got his sweatshirt and he loves it. It's comfy. It's tough. Diana Lisa says hers coming on Monday. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. And Skip, you mentioned that we have a Discord too. So, you can hang out over there as well. Okay. Also, I just got a reminder that we have the promo code Good Luck, all one word, GOODLUCK, where you get 20% off through Monday. If you are a subscriber to my newsletter, you would know that because that went out on Wednesday. So if you're not, if you want early access to sales and other stuff, that you could sign up. Okay. Let me switch over to let me wake up my iPad. I've been rambling so long that my iPad went to sleep. Wake up. See, it's like I need there to not be like a crazy lockdown mode. Like these. It's like, listen, I'm in my office, iPad. We don't need to be so secure. Okay? You know what I'm saying? Let's switch over. Are we here? Hi. Look at that. I gotta move some stuff on my screen. Ah! This is chaos. Okay. we're gonna draw some names. We're gonna start with Sharon because she did the super chat. I'm gonna put on some background jams, I think. There we go. Okay, sweet. Robert Holden, you said good morning. Good coffee, morning coffee. Yeah, I hear you. I've already had a lot of coffee. I think you could probably tell from my vibe. Okay. Sketchy. Got my sketchy brush from my Retro Splico pack. Take a little sip of seltzer. Let me turn my chat thing from top to live so that I can sort of see this. I try to look at the chat a little bit while I'm drawing, but because I can't focus on it the whole time because I'm looking at my iPad drawing, Matt in the chat with a wrench usually will pull things for me and put them in Notion so I can check them out while I'm working. So don't think I'm ignoring you. And if you have something really important, at Matt. At Matt. Okay, well, we gotta start drawing. So we're drawing. Sharon, I guess, goes by Sharona. My Sharona. Did I do that right? S-H-A-E, Rona. Okay. We got a one line, long one to start. And I can't not try to make it. I feel like we gotta go with the like sure, like I don't know. I feel like the visual representation of that, and because of the R, can kind of flow underneath that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm thinking like we could like do this thing with the R and kind of pull that up like that. Actually, let's not do an A like that. We could do an A like this, and it could sort of continue that trajectory maybe. Keep it a little bit more playful. Maybe we'll mix. I don't know. Haven't decided if we're just going wild and like mixing up style, like different styles of lettering. We're gonna see where this takes us. Oh, maybe we could have like this lowercase e go into like an uppercase R like this. That's kind of fun. Then maybe. Did I put a W there? That's ridiculous. You didn't see that coming, did you? Just made a whole new weird ligature with an uppercase N and a lowercase a. Let's say you just make up your own rules. Teek's Tip Time said, hi, you made it again. So glad to hear. Thanks for tuning in. Heimler's History said, howdy folks, glad to be here. Well, I'm glad that you're here too. All right, we're gonna lean into the wildness of just switching letter styles and forms. And I'm gonna go with an uppercase A here, I think. And then have that connect into this lowercase h. Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. We may change it, but for now, it's looking kind of cool. We just do whatever we want. We don't care about rules. Not convinced about that A yet, but we can iterate. Let's turn off all this other stuff. Let's check to make sure we didn't inadvertently start spelling something wrong, which I've been known to do as I'm drawing. Hasn't happened. Yeah, there's that AE situation is clunky. It doesn't flow. So I'm gonna put I'm gonna put guides back in, but I'm gonna make them in pink so that it's easier for me to see. So I was just doing some lines to sort of shape the movement so it makes it more flow. I don't know. We'll see if I don't know if that's going to help me, but it might. Okay. I think I just might need more space here. And we don't have to completely follow that guide. It's just sort of there to be a visual helper. Like I'm breaking it with that. All right, I think that's looking more fun. Fine Phoenix said, you were wondering what was the most interesting project you've worked on. What was the most interesting? I guess my like default answer would be this new show trailer that I worked on for Cartoon Network some years ago. It was fun because they had just like edited all these clips together from the different shows. Like it was like a highlights reel, but because they were like different shows and like different styles, they wanted to like tie it all together and make it cohesive. So I like took that edit and like illustrated just like little transitions between. So there's like lots of like lettering, like stuff that the characters were saying, just ways to like make it tied together, the different styles. So like my lettering and little illustrated elements and like transitions pull it together. And it's on my website if you want to check it out, but that was definitely one of them. Also really enjoyed working on the packaging for those limited edition Hot Wheels that just came out. That was really fun. Okay, let's tighten this up. I think we've gotten to a point where I feel good about it. This one's sort of precise, so I'm going to use the vector brushes so I can do some vector trimming. I'm gonna use my crispy vector presets. Get that's too thick. That's good. Shannon Long, you said, thanks for your video on pricing as a freelance illustrator. Generally the most thorough and comprehensive video I've seen on the topic. It's awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I've been asked to make a video on that for so long, and it felt like overwhelming for some reason. I don't know, because it's kind of complicated, but I think it was just overwhelming because as someone with ADHD, like it just took some planning and writing things down as opposed to just winging it with a picture. So, but it really wasn't that bad because I just sort of pulled together my thoughts, or like not my thoughts, but just like, you know, I wrote down, because it's not like it's a made up thing. It's just like, you know, how it works. So I was like, okay, well, what are the different things that come into play when pricing, and like just all stuff that I had known. I also remembered that I used to teach a business and promotion class for, I say business, that's very loose, but it was for illustration students at the Hartford Art School, and they were like seniors about to graduate, so it was about like putting together their portfolio and like trying to get work. And I had done a talk on pricing, and I was like, oh, I have a lot of this already done, so it's just sort of like turning that into video format. And, you know, just updating it a little bit. But I'm glad that you found it helpful. It's funny how, like, there's like some random comments on there where people are just like, well, this is a good way to not get any work. And I'm like, I mean, I've been making my living doing this for the past 16 years. But I think some people just like who don't know or just like do random like commissions for people on social media or something, just assume that like it's not real or something. I don't know. There's a difference between doing illustration work and doing like commissioned drawings for random people on the internet. And there's nothing wrong with that, but they're not the same thing. Because you're not like the thing that changes or makes pricing for illustration complicated is when you're doing it for like a specific use case and there's like the usage fees, because that's how illustration is priced, based on like how it's used. So if it's just a personal thing, then it's not really an illustration project. You're doing a piece of art commission for someone that's just like a personal thing. It's not necessarily an illustration project. It's you're doing a drawing for someone. That was a tangent. Adam Hamilton, you said your 9-year-old loves my vids and uses them to learn Fresco. It's been awesome watching him grow some arts. That's so cool to hear. I love that, and also it makes me a little worried that I might get in my head knowing that when I'm recording a video that a 9-year-old might be watching. Though I don't think I'm too inappropriate, but you know, sometimes I try hard to be a good boy. Did I trim everything? Okay. Hopefully we didn't do that thing where I inadvertently spell it wrong. I'll double check. But let's fill it in first. Whoop, wrong layer. Cool. I hope you like it, Sharona. Okay. Switch back to my pencil. Next up on the list is another super chat from Heimler's Sister. Thank you so much. You said that you love my channel and you're drawing along with me right now. That's awesome. Let's see how we spell this. H-I-M-L-E-R. Right? Did I do that right? Never is my ADHD more real than when I am trying to write something down and then check to see if I spelled it right. Like I look at it and then I just like can't. I can't. Okay. Let's see. Let's get this moving. What are we gonna do here? I don't know if I want to like start with a shape, like maybe it's like that, and then like the history could be like something like that. Let's see. Let's just write it in there and see if anything happens. Am I inspired? Am I inspired by this? Let's turn down this and let's see. I mean, it's hard to not take this Y and just blast it over, even though it's like just what we did before. But you know, when it's a thing that works for two things, it's not its fault that it happened 2 in a row. But we don't know. It's still too early to know if this is what we're going to do, because, you know, we may find that this is not going to work. But we're trying. We're seeing. Okay, let's use this to iterate and see what we can do. I think it needs a little bit more intention with the angles. Okay, let's lower the opacity. Let's make a new layer. Let me look at questions. Holy moly, so many questions. You're gonna give me a heart attack, Matt. Sleek the Geek. Why can't I use those brushes you suggested for Fresco in Illustrator? The brushes I suggested, I don't know if it was the vector ones. If it was the vector ones, you can't use them in Illustrator because Fresco vector is different than Illustrator vector in the fact that Illustrator is like shape-based vector, whereas in Fresco is shape-based vector, whereas in Illustrator it's fill and outline, so they work a little bit differently. So that's the situation with that. And Fresco isn't like exclusively vector. It's like it's mainly raster pixel based like Procreate, but it has vector as well. All right, so I'm just trying to make that shape a little bit more dynamic. And now I'm going to try to play with these letter forms and see what we can do. So I'm thinking maybe like this. Maybe the Y doesn't go all the way across. I don't know where it's going to go. We'll figure that out. Let's see. I guess the tricky thing here will be that the O is going to have to fit in between those two things, but maybe that'll be okay. All right, well, because I want to make sure that I get this to a decent place before I start worrying about the top word, just because this still needs help, and I'm not focus on this first because I don't know what I'm doing. I may be forcing it to this shape too much, so I'm gonna try something else. Let's see. For some reason this angle is tripping me up, and it's like an angle that I forced on myself. Maybe we're trying to force ourselves too much to the structure. Maybe we can be more playful. Just doing all kinds of wild connections between these letters here. So I think the H and the I were just feeling a little like bland when we had so much action going on with the other letters. But now I think this is, we were being too rigid before. I think this is gonna be what's gonna work. I think I can picture it. Okay, so let's turn back on the rest. Paul F, you said these skills look easy when I'm doing it. I practice hard. I love YouTube, but it makes some creative skills look too easy. Does that make sense? Yeah, I mean, I get it. The reason I do this in videos is because like it's, you know, something that I've been doing for a while, and like it's something that I've practiced forever, as you mentioned, and like something I do professionally. So, you know, I've developed these skills and I try to like make it a little bit more approachable, but like I do understand that it's going to look easy sometimes, even though I feel like I'm struggling quite a bit on some of these. But you know, yeah, it's about practice. That's why I've made some videos that's like tips to like get started with lettering if you want to do this kind of thing. And I think those make it a little bit more approachable. All right, I'm ready to tighten this up. First things first, double check spelling. We didn't do anything dumb. Okay. Let's make it bigger. I want to stay a little bit looser on this one, not be so sharp and angular like we did in the last one. So I'm going to use my default inking brush, which is the classic inker from my Retro Supplyco set. Froglet, you said, yeah, pricing talk is so uncomfortable. I'm still not comfortable with it yet. I think it's a confidence thing more than anything. Confidence of your promotion result. Yeah, it's a weird feeling. And you know, it's still weird sometimes for me, but like you also have to just, when you start feeling extra weird about it, I think it's just this like cultural thing where we're like, we shouldn't be able to make money off of something that we enjoy doing, because like work is seen as this thing that's supposed to suck. But like you also have to remember that like they're hiring you because they need your unique skill set and like something that you can do that they can't do, and it makes it extra valuable because, you know, it's something that takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill. And if you just think about any other thing that you were doing, like, you know, the easiest one to imagine is like if you're like getting your car fixed, like they're not gonna be like, oh, I feel bad, you know, this are they gonna think I'm good enough to charge? You know what I mean? It's like, no, this is a skill that they don't have, and that's why they're coming to you. It's like a very specialized skill. It's also not just like, especially when you get to a point where like someone is coming to you like because they saw something you did and they really liked it and they want that for their own thing. It's like they need you to do it. They can't just be like, oh, I'll just, you know, get someone else cheaper to do it, because like it's not just like a task that anyone can do. Did I don't even know if I just made sense. I noticed that I was doing something weird with the shapes, and I just want to look at this again to make sure I wasn't. Okay. I wish I could change the default to the brush color margin fill, because it defaults really low and sometimes I don't look at it and I just fill and don't realize that it's going to have like a weird halo because the margin is so low. Rabonk. You said, greetings from Bali. Love all your videos. It's always inspiring me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Ghost Bastards, you said, cheers from Buenos Aires, Argentina. I love your stuff. You feel my illustration freelance. Wow. Thank you so much. It's so cool to have people tuning in from all over the place. Love to hear it. Love that you're tuning in and enjoying my videos. That's the best. Teeks Tip Time, you said you want a wall painted with all your fun characters. It's funny, I just did a mural show in a gallery where it was pretty much that. Instead of working directly on the walls, they had us work on PVC panels that covered the wall, and then they like gave it to us, so I had to like rent a U-Haul to pick them up, and now they're just like in the garage because they were too big to get into my basement where my studio is, but also they're too tall because they're like they're only 5 feet wide, but they're 10 feet tall, and my office is not 10 feet tall. So I gotta figure out what's gonna happen with those. Because it was like, I don't know, 20 something feet wide, maybe 22 feet wide by 10 feet tall. All right, let me see. How do I feel about this? Something needs help here. I think if we're gonna get a little bit playful with like the super thin areas there, we're gonna do that in a couple more spots. All right, we're gonna do the trick where I do a border around it and then somehow it fixes all the problems. At least that's the goal. Sometimes it's like just a magic fix. Other times it doesn't help, but we're gonna see. I think what it does is just adds like just having that like overall container for it, you know, puts it in a little room together, and it just, you know, makes it a unified on another level where it's like it has similar styles, but then it's also it lives together. So it's like, oh, these letters work together because they live in that house together, right? You're like, that doesn't make any sense. I don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about letters and then they live together. What are you talking about? Okay. One issue right now is it's so big that it's hard to focus on. And we're gonna do just a little 3D action on it, and then it'll be good. And then we're gonna do the next one so fast you're not gonna believe it. You're gonna be like, wow, this is fast, and he didn't compromise quality. Whenever I say I want to go faster on the next one, I'm worried that the person who's next is gonna be like, oh man, he's gonna go fast on mine. But I have to say, the amount of time I take on them is not indicative on their quality, because sometimes the easy ones, the ones that come together faster, end up being better than the ones I struggle with. Generally, they take longer if it's... Yeah, I think I like that. I hope you like it too. Have I only done 2? All right, let's whew, what we got next? Find Phoenix. Peas are tricky. I don't know why I said that. They are sometimes. I think because they have this like big counter at the top and then this empty space below, and it's like, you know, you're trying to not have that become a weird focal point. Okay, Mihalo Arsenovic, you said, what dimensions are you using for your art? I am working at 5,000 by 5,000 pixels. I generally work in that range because I feel it gives me optimum brush settings. Also, sometimes I'll just be drawing and I don't have, like if it's not for a client project or something like that, I don't know. But, you know, I may draw something and like it and want to make it into something, like maybe a shirt or something like that. And that resolution is high enough that it's, you know, big enough that it could be printed large and still be fine, because 5,000 divided by 300 is a number that is relatively high for 300 DPI print quality. Okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna freestyle. So I'm like getting caught up on this idea of like Phoenix, like maybe because I've been playing this Marvel Champions game on the iPad with Marvel characters, and like one of our characters is Phoenix, Jean Grey, and I don't know, thinking about that like fire thing, so it's kind of leading me in this flamish direction. That's kind of fun. Can we do something with Fian at the top that fits? At some point, sometimes I just need to like get it there, and then I just need to like turn down the opacity, and then just having that. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I just need to get it there so I can get to the next part where I can refine. But then I start to see things that are kind of cool, like this can kind of flow right in up here. Like that. Woo, look at that. We could connect again right here, but I think that would be too much. So what I'm thinking is maybe it'll be almost connecting. Like it's separate, but you know, it's close. Maybe we can have these two connect, so it's not like the only letters that are connecting. Sharon Vice, you said, do you have a suggestion for dealing with hand fatigue, cramping, or do you even have issues? I definitely overdo it sometimes in any project. Yeah, I mean, over the years, I've had lots of weird issues, like tendonitis stuff, like tennis elbow, golfer's elbow. What I found is that's helped me was I have a sit-stand desk. I don't really stand that often, but what I do is when I'm drawing, I have it raised up really high, and then that really helps. Also, I use this the Sketchboard Pro, which makes my iPad a lot more ergonomic. And I just try to like support my elbow. I don't know. I think actually the better thing is like switching up your position. What I found is my issues come from repetitive movements. So like it just happens very slowly over time. So if I try to draw in different ways, and for me, what that looks like is I'm often drawing at my desk like this, but then I switch in the evening, and when I'm drawing, sitting on the couch, and I use like the Astro Pad dartboard, that like foam one, and I just sort of rest it on my knees. So it's just like drawing in two different positions. So I'm not doing the same movement over and over again. I'm also not someone that grips really hard. I think that can be an issue. If you use a mouse a lot as well, I can't recommend enough getting a neutral grip mouse that's like vertical, called a handshake mouse, if you will. And just doing that takes a lot of that pressure off. And I think that combined with like the drawing can irritate your tendons and stuff like that. So check that out. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Matt Hawkins, you said, does the rise of AI worry you? Seems like illustrators might get hit hard. No, it could be ignorant, but like, I think it's more of a concern for like people who just like focus on doing like hyper realism or just sort of like generic stuff. Like, I'm not like a super like skilled like renderer, or like someone who's like just really like, some people just focus on just drawing things as like great as possible. We're trying to replicate realistic things, or you know, just like look how good I copied this photo. And it's like, that's the first stuff that AI is coming for, because like that just takes practice, or just like, I don't know, that's just reproducing something. And like, for me, it's more about like what I'm like, it's like the thought behind something, or like the ideas, or like the sense of humor. I don't know. So it's like new. I don't know. It's more about like what the illustration is about, or like my experience. Like AI can only take things that have already existed and just sort of like regurgitate them. Like it takes its ideas from taking other information and then like, you know, pulling it together. And, you know, a lot of this is naive. It's obviously going to do some damage, but like, I don't know. I haven't seen anything that is not just regurgitating something that already existed. The best AI I've seen has still felt lifeless and sort of just like, you know, doesn't have that human touch. As good as it can get, it can't have human experiences, and it can't put that into the art as, you know, that's well, those are my thoughts. But you know, AI it's going to keep getting better, so it's only right now is the worst it's ever going to be. So who knows? Maybe it's going to come for me. I ain't scared. I ain't scared of these dang robots. Tell you what. And then we're gonna like, there's gonna be a movie about this, and they're gonna cut from me saying that to just being homeless. The AIs took my jobs. I just feel like the stuff that I do is very specific, and it seems like it's, from what I found, it's hard for AI to do right. Like whenever I've like tested it to see, like it can't like simplify enough. And it like does a lot of like generalizing. It's better at reproducing art that's like looser in a way, or super tight. Cool. Did I spell that right? Yeah. I think that turned out fun. I hope you like it too. Let me just taper this connection a little bit more. And then this one too. This is one of those marks that I could noodle with for eternity. All right, fine, Phoenix. I hope you like it. Thank you. Next up is Mike Pollock. H-O. Okay. Notice how I can't even like write an L-I without like stacking them like that. I see a Ben Price on the list, further pretty far down, but that's not, are you my old friend Ben Price, or someone else? Okay. Riley, just Riley. You said, love your videos, been learning Fresco, and your videos have been such a big part of learning how to use it efficiently. Your video format is super calming to follow. Thank you, I appreciate that. I think it's funny because sometimes I get crazy, and but I always hear that it's calming, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because sometimes I'm not calm. All right, Mike Holic. What are we gonna do here? I don't know. I'm gonna play for a minute. I was into making those like swirly letters before, so I might kind of do that in just like a different way for this one, because I want to keep having fun. Oh boy, made those connect. It's already looking fun. Let's see what we can do with this. You know what? We're getting serious. I'm going straight in. I'm gonna use my vector for this. I'm gonna use my VV Sharpie and all right, let's see. Nail, I don't know if I said that right. I'm sorry if I did. Rollbull said, any favorite comic book artist? I am out of the loop with a lot of comic stuff, unfortunately. I wish I had a better answer to give you, but I don't, and I'm sorry. So I'm just trying to like carry the wiggle all the way through from the top to the bottom to like kind of give it a flowy energy. And I'm just gonna like trim off the stuff that we don't need. That's why I'm doing this one in vector. It's funny, often when I use vector in Fresco, it's not necessarily because I want it to be vector art, but more just because I want to use this, the vector trimming. Because like realistically, you don't need vector in most situations. When you're working at a high enough resolution, it's like, you know, it's only very specific use cases that vector is really required. I wonder how long I can do this in without trimming and still be able to like visualize what it's gonna look like, because I imagine this looks like chaos to all of you. Matt Hawkins, you said, weren't you a graphic designer previously? What led you down the illustration route? Yes, I went to school for graphic design originally, and I worked as a designer for like 5 years, and I started, while I was working as a designer, I started a daily drawing project where hold on, I gotta, got all messed up. I started a daily drawing project where I was just posting a new drawing online every day. And I just did it as a way to like get myself to draw more because drawing was such a big part of my life. And then I realized as I became a designer, like the only drawing I was doing was just like sketches for like, you know, design comps. And I wasn't just drawing to draw anymore. And I was worried that, I don't know, I would lose it or something. And I can't just like say, oh, I just should start drawing more. Like I need some sort of structure or I won't do it. So I committed to that daily drawing project and I did it after about a year of doing it. I started getting like random commissions based on those drawings. And I thought it was a fluke at first, but then it happened more and more. And then 2 years in, I was getting more and more, and it just so happened to coincide with the economy tanking, and the design studio I worked at imploded and got laid off. So I decided I was going to try to make it as a illustrator based on the somewhat regular commissions I was getting. 16 or so years later, here we are. That's how illustration happened. Still feels a little bit too good to be true. I never considered illustration as an option. Actually didn't really know what it was. A lot of the stuff that I liked and assumed was graphic design actually was illustration. I just didn't know the difference. But that was my journey. I have a video where I talk about it in detail if you are interested. I think it's called like how I accidentally became an illustrator. All right, let's look at this. Look at this hot mess. Let's clean it up. So turn on vector trimming, doing a triple tap, and just get rid of all this extra stuff. So because we're using lines that go from the top to the bottom, it'll just inherently make it more cohesive and like kind of flow together. And I have to manually erase there. So if you don't fully cross over a line, you can't trim. Like here, maybe? Oh, I can. Okay, cool. I haven't decided if I'm going to fill it in or do like a outline around it, so that's why I'm cutting out this middle stuff too. Patrice Arpin, Prof, you said, small question. I like flipping horizontally my drawing to get a new perspective. Is that something useful in lettering, or it might? No. That's actually, that reminds me of like a tip from my design days when you are like kerning, like adjusting the space between specific letter forms, and you're like trying to find the balance. It can be hard to see because it's not always a matter of just making it like exactly the same dimension, because there's like visual balance. Like some letters need more space than other letters because of their shape. So what can be helpful is if you, when you're like first starting out with like lettering and type, you it's hard to like not just like see a word that you know and look at it as like a visual, like an image. So by flipping it upside down, it's easier to like check the kerning and see how it looks. And that's sort of similar to what you're saying by like flipping it horizontal. So yeah, that's a great thing to do. Cool. So instead of filling this in, I think what I want to do is I'm gonna duplicate it and Let's do this. Shift it down like that. Let's just fill this in white. Make it easier. Let me see. This is a little chaotic. So instead of filling all that stuff in manually, I'm selecting the outside and I'm going to go to select inverse. And then I think this is going to work. And then on this new layer, I'm just going to fill it in. Okay, now we're getting to where we want to be. So I can merge that down. And now I can just connect these points. Let's see. Dude Ranchero said, "Good morning. Love my name treatment from last week. Raising my cup of coffee to you." Thank you so much. So glad that you like it. I saw you did like a color version of it and posted it on Instagram, I believe. That was cool to see. Glad you liked it. Okay, just a couple little spots that need cleanup, and that line got a little thin. Why that's being weird. Let's just I must have grabbed a different thing. There we go. And oh, I see what's happening. I'm like erasing, but it's white. So what we can do is just select all that stuff. Actually, no, we'll do select the black. Then we only have to do 2 selections. And then we can just turn that off and then just make a new layer. Cool. I hope you like it. What do we got next? Shannon Long. Oh wait, let me put my little thumb smasher guy. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. Are you subscribed? Do you have the bells turned on? Do you know what that means? Okay. Shannon Long. I'm feeling scripty. You ever heard of script? I started with long just because it's very satisfying to draw a script L. Got that little connection going. Boop. Is this just going to keep coming together easily? I think it might. Sorry, being quiet. I was concentrating, trying to figure out this spacing. Let's see. Inkloud Creative, you said, hey Chris, you're a huge inspiration. I'm learning a lot from you, and I'm currently working on breaking free from the 9-to-5 corporate life to pursue art full time, in large part because of you. Wow, that's super cool. Good luck with that transition. The Good Chat is starting a chant. Smash them thumbs, smash them thumbs. I support it, and I raise you Dancing Buttman. Did you know if you are a channel member, there's a little Buttman emoji in case you feel like you want to express your feelings, and the only way to do it is with a butt with a face. All right, we're getting there. We're not quite there yet. I think we need a little bit more room for the long part. We need to make it a little bit longer. All right, so let's see what we can do. Move this over a little bit. Is this guy still dancing? I gotta pop him off the screen. It might be overkill. Maybe we don't need it. Maybe instead we could, like, I don't know. We'll see. We're still figuring this out. We don't know what's a good idea and what's a bad idea yet. No way to know until you give it a shot. Are we getting worse or are we getting better? That's the real question. Sometimes you can get worse. Sometimes you make it bigger too fast, and you're like, oh, well, we shouldn't have made it bigger yet because we're not there yet. when I'm doing a script like this, sometimes I just feel like I'm just writing it over and over and over again, trying to figure out where it needs help. Let's see. I have an idea. Nope, that's not what I meant. Paste. This. You're not your names. Your names are not balanced in length. I guess mine aren't either. Let's see. Sometimes I write faster, maybe it'll help. I think that might be it. And then maybe if this was just like, again, a little bit more narrow. And then we could, I think this might be one of those ones that benefits from like a nice round shape that it's knocked out of. And then it's just like rotated a little bit. Something like that. Let's see. Let me just grab the, what is happening? Trying to like keep it a little bit playful so it's not like too rigid, like too, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I guess we don't need the other name on here anymore. All right, I think I want it to be white on a black background. So instead of drawing the shape first, because the shape is going to be dictated by the lettering, I'm just going to do a quick black background so that I can draw in white. Because if I just draw it in black and flip it, sometimes the thickness will look weird because the way things look when they're inverted can feel different. Felix, you said, wow, always enjoy your videos. Greetings from Costa Rica. Thank you so much. That's super cool to hear. I feel like we've got a wide range of locations people are tuning in from today, which is super cool to see. Woo! Love when that works. Okay. All right. One thing that I think might be cool for this one is if we, let's see, load as selection, and then let's just erase that from here. Okay, delete that. Let's just quickly try something. Load a selection, and then let's grab one of my texture brushes. Actually, let's just use one of the Rezo brushes. And then let's just do one more, and then let's grab one of my lighter texture brushes like this. I want to subtle like that. And then turn this back on, and then take this one and just shift it a little bit. That's pretty subtle, but that's okay. Let's merge that down, and then just quickly use the eraser. Just distress it a little bit over the top, and then just let's grab one more. That's little dirt. That's what this one's called. Cool. I hope you like it. I think that's fun. Let's see. Oh, brushes, drawing, sketchy. We got the longest name I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm just kidding. Chris. I know how to spell my name. Christopher? Christopher. R-O-S. Now, as someone who's drawn my name on occasion, I hate drawing my name. And you have the same name as me. Skippy, you said, do you go look at stats on past live streams to see if they're getting watched? Well, they do. It's definitely at a lower rate. And also the live streams get unlisted because otherwise they, like, from what I hear, mess with the stats of regular videos, and it can affect things. So even though they're unlisted, you can still get them from a playlist, as I'm sure you know. Like if you go on my channel page, you'll see the live streams. There's also one just for the names ones, and they're all there. They're just not showing up in like a public feed or as like a suggested video because they're unlisted. So the views are definitely lower, and they're like a very specific use case. I think because I know Christopher is a struggle for me, and it's a long name, I think this might be a good use case for using one of my lettering helpers from my lettering framework shape set. If you don't know about this is my shop. You could use that promo code. Good luck to get 20% off if you want to try it. But anyway, there's all these like lettering frameworks in here that just have all these things. So I'm thinking I might use something from here to do this name, not this leaf. What do I want to use here? I need something that has a good 2-line combo that's long. Maybe the top of this thing could be cool. It's like a 3D thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and fill that in. You can do vector or pixel. I'm just gonna do pixel because I'm just using it as a framework. And because I only want the bottom part of it, I'm just gonna go ahead and erase this. I mean the top part, because we don't need that. Okay, so this is how I use these things. And now I'm just gonna kind of write the word, the name in there quickly, just to sort of get a feel for the spacing. And then I'll use it to help stylize it. Okay, so now I can use this to start trying to figure it out. So let me bring up this so I can see it a little bit better. Actually, you know what I'll do? To make it easier to see, I'll just fill that in and then clip it to that. And that's so much easier. Okay. Boofer T Justice, you said, is there any trick to invert selecting shapes in Procreate? I feel the edges are all pixelated after I paint in with the new brush. Any trick to invert selecting shape? Well, I don't know about in Procreate. In Fresco, you just go select inverse and then it just flips it. So I can't remember how that worked. The selection tools in Procreate, I think, are very weird and they always confuse me. Nate Tunes, you said, thanks for that pricing video. Super helpful. Glad to hear. David Cox, you said you just got your hoodie yesterday. Great quality. Love all the illustrations on the sleeve. So glad to hear. All right, I'm going to start with the last name here because it's the biggest one, and I don't know. So I'm going to do something like blocky letters, but like also kind of play with how they fit together, but also just like kind of use this overall structure and see where it takes us. Might try to stack this situation, like the F and the E. Maybe we'll do like an R, one R like that, and then the other one like this. That's kind of fun. I think I'm gonna continue this journey with the last name, and then we can have this be like what will dictate the style for the other name, the first name. So I'm just gonna work on the areas that I feel like, I guess it's only the O, feels like it needs a little bit of help. I think I want to put like a little serif on that. May do it on like the A too, just to sort of like balance the edges. All right, I feel okay about that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and erase the previous sketch for those letters, and then the rest are fine. So we can turn that back up, merge that down, and now we can do the Christopher lettering. I'm just gonna loosely sort of do the same blocky style. Steady Line Painting, you said you created your logo with vector thanks to your videos. Awesome. Juan Carlos Montes, he said you started using Fresco because of your chat. Thanks for the content. I appreciate that. Rodrigo Minano Paz said you're learning how to draw and using Fresco because of your videos. Wow, that's awesome. Super cool. And Charles Tavares, you said, hey Chris, hugs from Brazil. I would like a video of you talking about your process with clients, how they come to you. Cool. I have done some videos that are loosely like that. There's definitely at least one video where I like walk through a client project from start to finish. But there's a whole playlist called, I think it's like maybe Illustration Career? Illustration Career? I think that's what it is. Check that playlist out because you may find some videos in there that are what you're looking for. Okay, we are ready. Merge this all down. I'll make it bigger. We are gonna just get in there. Tim Makes Films, you said client horror video. You know, it's been a long time since I've had any real horror stories. I think they sort of, I'm trying to think of like when the last time I had one was. I think it was like probably back before I was like specifying the amount of revisions that were included. Like if I just didn't put that in the agreement, and they would just go back and forth forever. I feel like over the years I have gotten a good radar for like who's going to be a nightmare. So I'm better at avoiding them these days. One of the weird things is consistently the lower the pay for a project, the more of a pain in the ass the clients tend to be. Like the bigger budget projects usually are just like easier and smoother. But the less you're getting paid, I don't know. I don't know what it is. It could be that, you know, if it's like a low budget project, it means the client doesn't really have the money to spend on it. Best case scenario, or they just don't want to. But so they're like, you know, trying to make sure they're like being extra careful, I guess. But it's not like I'm trying to do bad stuff. The interesting thing though is because of like when you're a freelancer, it feels like there's such a separation from like the pay and the project. And what I mean by that is it's not like you do a project and then you get like paid immediately. Like it usually takes a while, especially with the bigger projects. Like it's usually standard invoice is like in 30 days, but like some of like the big clients will have like 45 days, or like I even had 90 days. And like by the time you get paid for it, it doesn't, you have like no, for me, I have like no recollection of even like the process. So my pay for projects feels very separate. And the benefit to that is like, I don't ever think about the budget necessarily for a project when I'm working on it, because it just feels like a different thing. So I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense, or if, I don't know what my point is. I think my point is that it makes everything feel like it's on the same playing field. Like whether it's like a low budget project for like a small independent thing, or like a big project for like a corporation, it doesn't feel different. Bilin Barat, I'm sure I butchered that name. I'm sorry. How do you manage to do so many things all at once? Creating videos, working with clients, live streams. It seems like it's so much to handle. I would say I don't. I honestly, it's been tricky. It used to feel a lot more manageable before I had a kid who's 4 now, even though it feels like I just had a kid, but he's 4, so it hasn't just happened. But I used to be way more of just like a workaholic, where I would just like work all the time. And although I still am to an extent, I'm much more limited in when I can do things. Like I have to do it during like specific times. He's at an age where like I can't do anything if he's home. So I struggle. I'm definitely in a transition period in terms of like client work. As my channel has grown, I've been taking on less work than I typically used to do, because it's not my sole income source anymore. So it's tricky. I'm finding the balance. Don't have any misconceptions that I have a balance and I figured it out, because I am a hot mess. But I do have to like make lists everywhere to try to keep track of everything, because I always think I can remember things, but I never do. So lots of to-do lists. Okay. Let's fill some of this in so we can do whatever cleanup needs to happen and do the counters. That being the little spaces in like an R or an A or an O. It's called the counter. You don't know. All right, let's turn off that. I'm going to duplicate this, and then on this one, I'm just gonna like shift it over and down 1 point. Because of the texture of the brush, there's lots of little spots, and I'm doing that to like get rid of that stuff. Cool. I hope you like it. It is. I gotta end this stream. It's almost been 2 hours, and speaking of balance and client work, I gotta go do some of that stuff right now. So thanks for hanging out. New live stream next Friday. Don't forget to watch my video on Tuesday with the where I hand letter 50 of my favorite band's musician logos, limiting myself to 5 minutes each. It's a chaotic video. I lose my mind a few times. There's a lot of work putting it together. So just watch it. Please watch it and love it and smash my thumbs. And I appreciate you all. Thank you. Bye.